I'm on a quest to find music and art. Supporting local talent is the place I start. Yeah, this is our culture, the place to be. Games, books, arts and crafts and jewelry. This the guardians of the geekery. 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 And now for today's episode of Guardians of the Geekery with your hosts, Matt, Carol, and Joey.
Whoa, Guardians of the Geekery back with you, another Geekery Market edition. Get your butt down to the Geekery Market on Saturday, November 15th, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the beautiful Cabarrus Arena and Event Center. And check us out at geekerymarket.com for further details. Of course, we are partner in fundraising. Of course, that we're raising food for rather is Second Harvest to help with food insecurity around the Carolinas, and especially still up in the mountains of the North Carolina area and Tennessee, where it's still just slow going up there from what I've heard from relatives and friends up there. So definitely proud to keep that association going on. But hey, special guest author Nancy Dunne returning, which is awesome. How many times is this you've done the market?
This will be my third. Yeah,
you've done all Cabarrus, right?
Yeah,
all three Cabarrus. You were not.
Nice.
Yeah,
the big room. Yes, 30,000 square feet of
where you walk in and go.
Yeah.
We were talking to author Jason Gilbert on a previous episode, and he has not been at the new one. He used to come and be at the other one, but he actually is one of the authors that lives in the Asheville area. And I'm like, you have no idea, because he saw us struggle through the 5,000 square feet. I'm like, you have no idea how good it is.
Yeah.
You want to like dance around like Julie Andrews in the space, like
not tempt me.
Arena is alive.
Although it might end up being more like Liesel and what's his name jumping off of the things.
Oh, Frederick,
my sister and I used to do that, so it might be jumping off other people's tables.
Wow.
Now. So this is your third year with us, and of course last year we had the TARDIS, so you got to take pictures with the 10th Doctor, who Carol makes me disclaim is not actually David Tennant. He just looks an awful lot like him, so I don't get in trouble.
To think.
No false advertising.
Yeah, David Tennant there.
It's not going to cost you $200 for a photograph. It's completely free to get a photo.
I got a lot of comments on that picture I took with him because I had the TARDIS, the gingerbread TARDIS on my shirt. And people were like, that picture's great. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And they're like, no. Is that really David Tennant? Well, I'm in it too. Hi. It's fine.
Yeah, he had so much fun, and he is so excited about coming back, and we're so excited to have him. So
Yay.
He gets that a lot though. He was at Heroes Con this year, and he does do the British accent when he's talking and stuff like that, and people are like, oh wow. It's like, yeah, no, he
do a Scottish accent.
Yeah, really.
There's the test.
But let's talk about you, Nancy, because we could talk about all the other fun stuff later. But you have a new book that you'll be bringing to the show, and
I do.
You have a whole bunch of series, and just talk about what's been going on in the author world of Nancy Dunne.
Well, the author world hit a bump back in 2023 when I got my diagnosis, but I am back, sort of getting back into it. It's really hard if you take any kind of a break for any reason. It's hard to get your brain back wrapped around what you're doing and who you were writing before, if it's a series and all those kind of things. But I think that I've got a new novella. I've never written anything so short in my life. I think we talked last time about how my books could be used as self-defense because they're all about yay thick.
Yeah.
This one, I struggled to make it shorter, and it's still, I think it's a little long for a novella, but it doesn't pass the line of making it actually a novel. So That's what I've been working on. I do a lot of cover design when I can't get my head to write. So there's a lot of covers in my hard drive for books that haven't been written yet, that I know are coming, but they haven't been written yet. So um, yeah, that's what we've been up to around here. And good news, I think we are about 99% sure we're getting another wolfhound. So that will
Oh,
probably steer me over toward the dog books for a while, but um
So a
more
real
news on
life
that later. A
wolfhound,
real
not.
life
Yeah,
one.
yeah, real life.
Yeah, a real life one, a real life big boy. So
Have you had wolfhounds before?
I have, we lost our 11 and a half year old this past February,
That's pretty old
and
for a wolfhound.
it was
That's
very, very, which I think is why the group decided that we were probably okay to put down for another rescue wolfhound, which is what she was. And we had another one that we lost to cancer several years ago. So
mm.
it makes my house really small not to have a big dog in it. And they inspire me. I mean, a lot of my characters in Strid, which is my Strith, I've been told because I put the little thing on the D because I thought it was cool. Um, Strid is my gas lamp steampunk adjacent novel because I'm not either one of those types of authors. I didn't know really what I was doing, but there is a wolfhound in that one, um, which was modeled on my girl Bryn that we just lost in February. So maybe those characters will start talking to me again if I have a wolfhound in the house. We'll see.
Oh,
That'd be
That's the
amazing.
joy of being an author is it doesn't matter if, you're this person, this type of author, or that's it. You're an author and you can do whatever the heck you want.
I thought it was historical fantasy, and I was sitting next to I was next to Jason Gilbert actually,
Mhm.
back when we did the Renfest event, and he looked at it and he goes, "Oh, you're writing steampunk," and I was like, "What?" Okay. And then Jim came over and was like, "Yeah, that's steampunk." I was like, "Are you sure?" He goes, "Maybe it's gas lamp." I was like, "Okay."
Or maybe you're
Steam
gaslighting us. Who
gas will
knows,
just,
right?
All I know is some fae came out of an underwater gorge, and my historical fiction. Suddenly, I was like, "Oh, we're writing fantasy. Great. Okay, all right, I can do that. I can do that."
sometimes that happens and you just say,
Mhm.
well, we're switching genres. Here you go.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I get for trying to write something that didn't have anything paranormal or magic or such in it. That's what I get.
They just tapped on your shoulder and said, by the way, we're over here.
Yeah. We'll be hanging out in the water until you're ready for us to come out. So just
Yeah.
let us know. Okay.
So what was the first book you published?
The first book was a dog book, actually. My dog books, oh, don't knock the sandwich off. Shiny
Oh,
clobber paws. These are all books that I've written from my dog's perspective because they are far funnier and more interesting than I am. And it was interesting to me to kind of see they're all things that have actually happened, but I kind of took the step back and said, now what would the dogs think about this? Clobber paws is about we raised Bren at the Carolina Ren Fest, really. I mean, we picked her up, she's 5 months old. On a Saturday, we took her on a Sunday. People were like, "How long have you had her?" I'm like, 36 hours. But the first ones were about my greyhounds, and that's the Proud Racer series. And I do have one of those two of those actually now that I will be bringing with me. One of them is an American Greyhound in Yorkshire, which is basically my memoir of living in Yorkshire with my husband when we first got married, but it's told through my greyhound's eyes. Which is kind of amusing. Like the day we went to Whitby and the seagulls dive bombed her because they wanted my French fries. I still don't understand why they thought she was in them, but she tells a
Oh.
good story about those stupid seagulls that wouldn't leave her alone. The other one is actually my first books that I wrote, the Proud Racer series, which just took my dogs from being born on the farm and going to school and learning to race and then bottoming out of racing because I had one dog that was a really good racer that actually broke his toe and they had to carry him off the track to
Oh
Oh.
my
to
gosh.
because he didn't want to leave. He wanted to run. So that was my profile. And all of those are in one, the Proud Racer collection. I'll bring this because those really are, that was back when I did write short books. All of those are really short. And then I got to Daisies and it was a 50 something thousand word novel. And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
what do you know? So that's where I started. And then I switched over to fantasy. I used to be an avid gamer. Now I'm a very lackadaisical gamer because I'm the only one who still plays EverQuest of my friends that used to play. So it's not as much fun. But that led me to think what would happen if I wrote down all of the adventures that we went on while we're in the game. And that's where the Errana Chronicles came from. I changed the setting and I put the characters that I knew into new things and made them do new things, and which is basically what you're doing when you're gaming. You're still playing God. You're making your
Yeah.
character go do things. So that's where that one came from. And that one took me about 13 years to write. And I realized that's not what you asked me. So I'm going to be quiet.
No, that's
You know,
okay.
that is very ineffectual to have a podcast guest on the podcast who doesn't want to talk.
That's true. That's true.
Doesn't help us. So feel free to talk.
I think it's
That-
just great, like how, I mean, I guess we're all, I mean, you're just like anybody else, different interests, and then but you go a step further and actually write about them. And I was checking out your blog the other day, and I just have to ask you, where did you get the name Isn't the Lettuce Brave? That's quite a...
That came from in my day job. I used to say in my real life, but now they're both equal jobs. In my day job, I'm a sign language interpreter, and I had gone to a conference and was sitting in a workshop talking about interpreting in mental health settings. And one of the things you have to be prepared for if you go for like an intake, you don't know this deaf person, you've never interpreted for them. Sometimes you have. Anyway, and one of the very common things that is mental health related, mental illness related, and deaf community related is that if you ask a deaf person without parameters, why did you come in? No. What are you doing here today? Well, they'll start with the morning and I got out of bed and I took a shower and I did all this and then I ate my breakfast and then I had to go to the appointment. So then I got in the car and da-da-da-da. It's a very long, it's just part of cultures that you want to give all the information you can. Well, when that information gets skewed by mental illness, the person who was leading the workshop said that she had somebody, I can't remember the whole thing, but there was a whole long string of stuff that didn't make any sense. And at the end of it, it was something, something, something. Isn't the lettuce brave? Yahoo, I like mushrooms or something like that. And I was at that conference when I started that blog. So I was like, that's a pretty good name. It's in one of the posts from, I mean, that was back in the 1900s, you know, when it's amazing
Oh my gosh,
electricity
that
I started that blog.
We're all right here with you on this podcast. Yeah,
So
all...
that's in there somewhere, but that's where that name came from. It was from Isn't the Lettuce Brave is something that that person had signed, and she was like,
Yeah. Oh
that
my
doesn't
God.
answer the question of why did you come to see the doctor today? Nothing. Yes. Brave lettuce. Yay. But
Oh, I love it. And you've been doing the Music Mondays, which I think are really cool. And of course, around this recording time, we had lost Ozzy Osbourne, and that was one of your most recent posts. So that was very cool. But yeah, they're very entertaining, though. Just some of the subject lines. So definitely check that out on bravelettuce.blogspot.com or your main website. Yeah.
those keep me updating the blog. If I don't have anything else to put up there, at least I have a Music Monday, which sometimes happens on Tuesday or Wednesday.
I hear you.
Yeah,
do the best we
it's
can.
kind of
Yeah.
tough to be the schedule. I like how you said it took you 13 years to write that book, because I think people, would-be writers, tend to think, well, if I don't finish it like now, then I'm a failure.
I think that's worse now too, because we have publishing has changed to the point that you can put something out, you know, in a month. Like
Yeah.
it took me much longer to write it, and I have self-published all my books than it did to get it formatted, edited, and put up on Amazon. That was quick. So I think that people are seeing that, and they're seeing that some authors that they follow put out a book, you know, every month, every 2 months, whatever, and they're like, well, there's no way I can do that. And that's just not true.
We
I'm
aren't
little
all Brandon Sanderson.
No,
I
we're
don't
not.
know how he does it, but
I think some of the genres are easier also to
Yeah.
maybe write faster. I don't want to say that to make anybody mad, but I mean, I couldn't write a romance novel if you pinned me to a chair and made me do it. I read them. I mean, no shade to anybody that reads them, but I get too embarrassed. So there's no way I could write those. And I don't know how those authors churn them out so fast, but I think when you're talking about a fantasy novel, it's a little more complicated. Or
Yeah, because
lit
you're building a
RPG, which
world.
is my, yeah.
Because you actually have to build the world. The world's not like outside your window. It's outside
Yeah.
a window that doesn't quite exist.
And the
In
rules of the
there.
world. And then you have to remember what rules you made for that world, especially if you've taken time off. Yeah.
Thank goodness for my spreadsheets. I have a 87 row spreadsheet just of characters, like of their name, their surname, their nickname, what their hair color
And
is,
she
their
said
eye
she
color.
doesn't write romance, and yet you just turned me on just by telling me you have a spreadsheet.
That's the
I
longest one I have. The other ones are shorter, but yeah, that one has been very helpful going back and trying to get back into that universe because I actually realized I had misspelled a character's name in a book that I published about 4 years ago. Whoops.
whoops.
But since I'm the one doing it, I just go in and I fix the manuscript and put it back up, and hopefully it's a small enough misspelling that people won't notice, except that I just said it here. So good job.
Everyone's
Here
running to
first.
their shelves.
But I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
It happens to everybody. It happens to everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, no. And you were about to show us your shiny new book cover, and then I got
Yes.
us talking about something else, and then you were balancing your sandwich, and things happened.
Things always happen. Let's see. Alexa, turn off the light. That might make it a little, that made it a little better.
My
Um,
Alexa just trying to turn off my light. Thank you very much.
sorry.
It's okay.
This is a new series in the same universe that I've been writing in. One of my little shticks that I say when I'm at my table is that my second series, which is Guardians of Arana, I just liked my side characters so much that I gave them books to play in. Well, not all of them, and now I've gotten tired of that series, so we're going to start a new one because I'm the boss here. I'm
Yeah.
Ivanova, as if you're a Babylon 5 fan. Anyway, this is about my villain. This is showing where he came from, how he became who he became, and what happens next for him.
Oh.
So I'm bad about, I would just like sit here and read the whole book and give it to you if I thought you'd read it. And these are bad things for authors. So, but this one it was supposed to come out last week and Amazon decided to hold it for a while. So it's out today. It's called The Wizard's Bond. And the new series is called Arana's Legacy. Arana is the world that my books are set in. And it's about, I used to call him Tabin, but until my heretofore unnamed voice assistant that I won't say because it'll set yours off, I have her read my books to me.
Oh.
I always publish on Kindle or ebook format first. If you've published it through Kindle, then she will read them to you, which is hilarious because she messes up. She gets words like Terninock. She calls Sathlir Sathlier. His name is Sathlier. It's not Sathlier. But anyway, I had her read that one to me, and
That's
it was a
cool.
little weird, but yeah, because it's a completely different. It's not completely different. It's still fantasy, but it's a different point of view, and it's a different way of expressing that point of view. And I will end up telling you what happened in all the other books. So zip.
Did
Oh,
you
that's what I
design
was
that
going for.
cover?
She calls him.
Oh.
It's about. I was always calling him Tabin, Taeben, Tabin. She calls him Tybin, and now I can't hear that any other way. So I
Nice.
think I've just added 2 pages to my website with place names and words that I have come up with for the languages of that world and character names. And I honestly would have to go back and see which one I put. I probably put Tybin because, wait, Tabin, whatever. His name's up there. There's a way to pronounce it, but I'm very happy for anybody to come up with ways that make sense to them to pronounce anything in my books, as long as it doesn't take you out of the story to go, how do you pronounce that? I'm
I
fine with it.
I think
When I
that's
was
I
in
think that's a
third
healthy
grade,
thing. Oh yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I think that's a very healthy thing. Especially like back in the '80s, my friends and I read the X-Men comic books, and half of us would say it's Magneto, half of us would be Magneto, and of course, it just took forever until finally a cartoon they would pronounce it, and you're like, oh wow! And even sometimes then it would, when the Marvel movies came out, it would change, and you're like, oh, that's not that character's. But it's just I think that shows like that was always kind of a code too, like with sci-fi novels too. It's like you would say it out loud for the first time, and your friend might be like, "Oh, is that how you pronounce that?" Or
Yeah, I've
you
gotten that
know,
a
and
lot.
yeah, and but I think it's kind of a cool, just kind of a reader's community, because it's like, well, that's okay. I mean, in your head, and you like, because we all imagine it a little bit differently too, with good writing. And boy, I think it just brings another dimension to it. And then, I mean, maybe it could also give you a mirror universe version of the character out of something like that too. but
Yeah.
yeah, but I think that's really cool though. Yeah,
Well, it was suggested to me by a reader that said, I don't read fantasy novels because I have dyslexia and I can't pronounce any of the names in my head.
oh,
And
Just
I
scan
said, would it
over 'em.
help if there was a glossary or something in the front? Oh yeah, that would definitely help because then I could practice. I see
oh,
that and that's how it sounds. And so I was like, well, okay, so I
nice.
don't put it in my books because I don't want all the characters that are not in that book. I didn't want to have
Yeah.
to go back and edit it. I'm basically lazy. We'll just be honest about it. But I thought if it's on
You're
my website,
efficient and time sensitive.
Yes, there you go.
Yes.
Joey, I need to talk to you all the time.
We can arrange that. I do not have a problem with that whatsoever. I was just going to say, when I was in third grade, I was reading a book that was in like our little classroom library. And so the binding had started to kind of, like crack and everything like that. And so somewhere along the lines, I was reading it at recess or something, and one of the pages had fallen to the floor. And the teacher was saying, hey, there's a page missing out of somebody's book. Whose is this? And, I was probably not paying attention in class. I was probably chatting with my friend next to me or whatever. And she kept saying it was a page about a girl named Phoebe. And in my head, it was Phoebe. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
and so when she said that, somebody said, Joey, isn't that your book? Because it was a yellowed page as opposed to a nice, fresh white page. It was an old book. I'm like, no, my character's Phoebe. And they're like, no, that's how you pronounce Phoebe, silly. I was like, oh, okay. Well, now you know that I've only ever seen it. Just like, I grew up with an Uncle Herbie. And so when I went to school, I said, he picked the herbs. And they're like, no, it's herbs. And I'm like, all right.
The
Okay.
British husband, it's herbs here, and that just
Yeah,
makes my
it's
skin
herbs.
crawl every time, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Uh,
But it's so funny. But I do think that speaks volume. It's like, it's fine if you don't know how to pronounce it, because that means that you read it versus
yeah.
now, once you learn it, that's different. But,
Yeah.
it's like, if it makes sense in your head and it allows you to continue to read the story, then just do that. So, but yeah.
I
I
think
read
I
a lot
said
of
that
Tolkien. Yeah, I read
Mm.
a lot of Tolkien, so I'm just like, and then they went into
Well, yeah,
See,
I'm like, okay, character G just did this and character H just
yeah.
did that. So,
This is why I can't remember any of their names because they don't stick. I read The Hobbit when I was in fourth grade and loved it, and then went on straight into the Fellowship of the Rings and was like, what's this? What's happening?
Totally
Somebody sent me a
different style.
copy of the Silmarillion, which is basically so and so begat so and so begat so, and I was like, this is not
It's
helping.
the Bible.
This
It's the
does not
Bible.
help me.
Yeah, I
So I
tend
think
to
I'm trying
gloss
to
over the
learn.
names in the Silmarillion quite a bit, although I tend to listen to it now. So now I actually do have some pronunciations. But
And
for
don't
the
listen
longest
to the
time,
voice assistant.
yeah, for the longest time, it was Samwise Gamgee because I had had nobody pronounce it. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
then like a cartoon of the Return of the King came out in the 70s or 80s. And it's Gamgee. I'm like, oh, okay. Sorry,
Is
Sam, I've been pronouncing your name wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, if
Yeah.
people want to, if they come up with that pronunciation and that makes them happy and they keep reading, then great. I don't really want my main character to be called Sathliar because he's not really a liar. Fun fact, his race is they're feline humanoids, and the race is Qatu, which is a Hindi word for cat. And there's a joke in there that he says he's a Katu, and then he says, "Yeah, I know it's ridiculously on the nose. I guess we were afraid when we evolved that we wouldn't remember what we were." Yeah, Katu.
Nice.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Now, Nancy, if people want a book in your series and they're concerned that because of all your fabulousness, you may sell out before the Geekery market, are you taking pre-orders so people could actually pay for your books now and just pick them up at the market?
I am not, just because I did that last year and it did not work.
Okay.
I didn't get many pre-orders, and I think that's
Okay.
because outside of the events that I normally do, I'm still not that well known. There might have been more this year, but I decided just if they see this on here and they want to go to Amazon and order the book and then bring it, I will be more than happy to sign it. I don't care that they didn't buy it there that day. That's fine by me. I haven't set it up to do. And part of that is probably just getting the brain back into doing things. That's probably why it went wrong last year.
No.
'Cause
Well, no. I mean, you know, if books are a little bit different than we were talking about this on a previous podcast, books and prints of by artists are a little bit different because you have mass quantities and there's ability to print again or order again. Where if it's something like a crafted piece, like a crochet item or a handcrafted wooden item or something like that, they're not going to be mass produced. Each one is going to be a
Right.
little bit different. And so
Right.
if you want to ensure that you get that piece, that's where the pre-order is really essential.
That makes
The
sense.
only thing would be we do have some authors that like they'll do so many in a hardcover and then the rest are all soft cover. So if you want that limited edition hardcover, that's where the pre-order is super helpful. So, and
I
just
do
in
have a
general to
couple.
help fund
Yeah.
the travels and stuff like that. But you are under no obligation to set up a pre-order, but I just want to make sure that people know how to get your books if they want to, if they don't want to have to wait until November to start reading about the dogs or the cats.
Well,
So
you know, and they are all available on the Zon. I'm working on going wide, but that hasn't happened yet. So maybe by this time next year, we will be a bit more wide, but one step at a time.
Yes.
So what's the best place for people to find you? What's a good starting place? Your
Well,
website
my
or
website probably. I think I have excerpts up now of all my books. There may not be any of the dog books. I'm not sure that I've gotten to that section of the website yet. But I think for all of the fantasy books, there are excerpts, as I say, at my table, so you can see what you're getting into before
Oh,
you start
good.
reading. So that's probably the best place, because then you can kind of see if this is a book that you're interested in that resonates with you, or something that you want to give a try, even if it doesn't. If it's not something you normally read, but you're like, oh, that sounds kind of cool. That gives you a way to know that. And all of those are linked back to where you can purchase them at Amazon, or you can just make a note and then come see me at the Geekery Market and I can hook you up.
so your website address is
NancyEDunne.com, because if it was anything more complicated, I would forget it.
and Dunne is Dunne. So
Yes.
Nancy E. Dunne. So
Yes.
make sure that you do that. You can find that link in the show notes for today's, as well as if you go to geekerymarket.com, you can click on the 2025 artisan list, find Nancy's name, and we click you and connect you to all the social media, including this podcast today. So if you wanted to see any of the pretty covers that we were talking about, or just Nancy's prettiness herself, you could just do that. Her awesome D20 shirt that she's wearing today. So
It doesn't have any numbers on it.
well,
So
that's the way I like it. So then
you
just
just
every side is a 20, right?
tell everybody it wasn't got 20 and don't get so close that you've got to look.
There you go.
Just back up.
My
If I said
nat
it was-
20's up here, please. So.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a very good one. Remember that. I'm also all over social media at Nancy D Writes Nancy D _ Writes.
Yes.
That's-
And so then you could check out her Music Mondays and some of her other blogcasts. Check out some of her books, see some blurbs ahead of time, check out the pretty covers, check out her dogs, and see all the goodness that is there. So make sure that you go there. And Nancy, as always a pleasure to have you on the podcast to chat with you. Thank you for pausing eating your sandwich so you could join us together.
waiting right there.
Hopefully
With my,
your cat hasn't eaten it yet. So
University
There
of
we go.
Georgia cup of what is this? Kool-Aid.
sure it is. We believe you.
Oh, it's a Sunday. Come on.
All right. Well, thank you. We'll see you soon.
That was an episode of Guardians of the Geekery. Thank you for listening. Check us out at guardiansofthegeekery.com and stay tuned for more content.